Welcome to the Brickies Podcast. I am Michael Brownie, and this episode is going to be dedicated to the loss against AFC Whyteleafe. And I think there's a few key points to go over in this pod. We will talk about everything. That includes the situation on the Sunday. We'll try and address it properly, and obviously talk about the run-in, the playoff run-in, where I sort of think that it's only one place available. And there is only a certain amount of teams that can get in there, and I think we'll start there actually with the run-in and how it looks for all the teams that are involved, because everyone from Deal up to Jersey Bulls are still in play, but I think some of the fixtures for Jersey Bulls are a bit too easy, and I think it will just boil down to us, Faversham and Margate, really. I think only one Kent side will be in there. And I know I stutter, but you know the run-ins are a bit difficult for everyone. But I know our run-in is Saturday is a good momentum game. You want to get that momentum. You want to be able to go into Monday's game and say, yeah, we got a massive run out on Saturday. Players were high on confidence, and then by the time we do take on Mersham on Monday, which will be an absolute battle at home at 3 p.m, tickets are available. You want to be looking at that game and going, right, have we prepped ready? Are we prepped rightly? And ready for this one with the weekend in there. I know that Friday there are some fixtures which I don't think it will lead any pressure on us, but it will give you the idea of, you know, what the standing is like with 4 games to go after. And it will really be a fight towards the end, won't it? Because let's go with what Jersey have first. They play VCD away, 1 p.m. early, so they'll have to get to that ground early on Saturday, and they'll be setting the pace. And on Monday they'll be at 2:30 game. Then they're away to Beckenham. Beckenham have actually picked up form, and they're fighting for their lives. Deal Town, who by that time will know their fate. I reckon by then they will know if they are going to be a playoff team or not. But they're away at 1 p.m. Never easy. And Hastings, you know, they're still sort of half fighting for their life in this division, having to keep all the other teams out. But I think they're clear enough. You know, I think they're on 42 points. Hassocks are on 35, which leads us really to us in the pecking order, who will be. We've got some difficult games, but I think they're all winnable. East Grinstead, you'll look at that and say 3 points won't be as easy as you think, but I think if we get going early, I think it could be a cricket score, and I think that's what you want, especially with goal difference, because that could easily put us above Jersey, and it will determine whether we play Whyteleafe, Croydon, or Three Bridges, who are still battling it out for the championship, and they have a really hard end to their season. They have to play some of the top sides. Play Mersham, get that one out of the way, and see where we are after that. Ashford will not be easy. They've been on a good rise. They can't make the playoffs, but I think they're just trying to get momentum for next season. Hassocks fighting for their lives. VCD on the last day. Will VCD know their fate by then? Will VCD be down? Will they be, you know, completely relegated? The odds are saying that they probably will. You know, they're 9 points off. Unless they start winning games now, they'll be gone. And sort of the same for Beckenham, really. But I think Beckenham, if they can get a win somewhere, and very quickly start putting that all together. And then you look at Faversham, whose fixtures are, from looking at them, you would say their next 2 fixtures are hit and miss for them. So, again, Ashford away on Friday, 2 p.m. kickoff. If Ashford are on it, which they will be, and they want to get one over their old manager, that could be a really banana peel for them. Sheppey are gone, aren't they? They're gone with the wind. I think the last good game they had was against us, and now they just really want the season to be over. East Grinstead, looking at 3 points. But then their final 2 fixtures are really big ones. Sevenoaks, not a team to take lightly in this division. Their manager seems to think that he's got the best squad in the league. I think the table would say otherwise. And yeah, and then they play Three Bridges, which could be the day where they have to get into the playoffs, and Three Bridges might have to win it to get into, the winning. Three Bridges might have to win the league, and Faversham might need to win it to get in the playoffs. So they've got really, really difficult running, I think, Faversham. And I think with the form that they're in at the minute, it doesn't help them. It doesn't help them at all. And you'd want it to be us going for it. And then Margate, again, they are a team banging form, aren't they? But they've got Whyteleafe next, and Whyteleafe, they're not to be taken lightly. They know how to play football. A massive praise for their football at the weekend. The manager said, we didn't come to play football. We came for a battle, and we took our chances. And I think that was the sort of game which I'll get onto in a minute. Then they've got Herne Bay, another team that want the season to be over. VCD, team in trouble. Erith, a team in trouble but actually can get out of it. And the last day of the season, they've got East Grinstead, and it's away, and they'll absolutely be looking to thump them and get that goal difference up. And they've had some good results recently. They beat Three Bridges. Not easy. I know that we done it. Beckenham away 2-0, Hassocks 2-0. And 1-0 against Hastings. They're grinding out results. And if we get into the playoffs, I think it will all be to play for. And then again, who's going to be the top side going up? It's still all to play for, which is lovely at this point of the season. Now let's rewind a little bit and let's go back to Saturday's game. Going into it, you looked at Whyteleafe's form and you just thought momentum. I definitely thought that. And when you get to the ground, you feel it. You feel that there might be a massive game on the hands. The players look prepped, the players look ready. They've been grinding out results, but the manager's, quietly confident. And as the game started up, the first 5 minutes before the goal, it was all us. Then they go up the other end, knock one in, and I think a few minutes, within 5 minutes later, they're 2-0 up, and you're sort of sitting there scratching your head thinking, how's that happened? And the rest of the game played out like we were the better side. We dominated possession, we had more shots. But the thing about Whyteleafe is they managed the game well. We scored. What a goal by May, by the way. Definitely can give him this one. And the second half, it was sort of all us with the odd chance. Then there was a key point when we was on top, when they gave away a free kick. Well, actually, rewind that. There's a few minutes before that where there was a blatant onside, but the linesman's called it offside. The referee, Nick Dunn, who I know, I have spoken about it after, and I've showed him the footage. I've not heard anything back, but Reese is not happy with it. I'm not happy with it. How a linesman's missed that player's onside is unreal, because he goes through one-on-one. Does he score? Okay, he still has to score, but the chances are that the player will score is sort of second to none. And I think that game then becomes 2-2, and then both teams have to battle it out. Then after that, there's the high foot where we get the free kick, but they take so long. They break us down and they slow down our momentum. Then on a corner, a bit of pushing and shoving. Then the situation with the mix-ups of the subs. They knew how to manage the game. And that is football at its brilliantness, because you know that you're winning. You know you need to take the wind out of the sails. And AFC Whyteleafe, there's nothing wrong with that. It's not dark arts. It's winning football matches. If when we played Three Bridges, we won the football match. And I think you have to tip your cap to them and say, yep, okay, you've done us on the day, 4-1. The third goal, the keeper comes out. He's young. He's still inexperienced. No criticism on him. He's done the right thing to come out. It'll be a learning curve. Third goal, it's just poor from us. And I think those defensive lapses, the boys have been, solid all year for that. And these things happen when you're playing teams like that. You can't give them space. I remember going to Whyteleafe and us, living on the tightrope, but games go into the swing of that. And then we will go into that messy thing about, what happened on Sunday. It's not nice. And I just want to say, as a club, we've reacted brilliantly. We acted quickly on the day. And then the next day, obviously, Whyteleafe put out their own statement really quickly, which, for me, I think we probably should have done together. But that's not knocking them. They wanted to go about it their way. And it's not a knocking. It's not people should have done this. If you rewind to when it was Erith and it happened to us, we just communicated, and it was a joint thing. And I think Whyteleafe wanted to do it their way, and they're a proud team. They've got great players, and I think they said it was like the fourth time it's happened this year. And I would be irate if it's the fourth time something like that's happened. What I will say is this gentleman in the crowd, no Sittingbourne fan has ever seen him before. No one can pick him out, and it just seems like it for me. It was a guy that was there for non-league day, and he's had too many, and he shouldn't be at a football match. He shouldn't be allowed anywhere in society. But that's my view, not my club's view. That's my view personally. And I'm so glad as a club we recognised it quickly. And when it went out online, lots of people are praising us for acting swiftly. And that's what every club should do: act swiftly, make sure you do it right, and we move on from that now. That for me is the end of it. And we now have to live with that for a little while. But as like I said, we're a club that are bang on it. We're not messing about, and I'm proud to say that I'm part of Sittingbourne. And we move into this weekend. Move into big month. A few things I want from you listeners. We are gonna obviously have commentary on one of the games this month. Not streaming commentary, free commentary that we do once a month. So if there is someone out there that has a business and they want to sponsor the radio, you could have it for most away games and have your name on it and have your logo on it. Fantastic. We can only do one game a month. That's what's free and available. We need you to vote. We're going to put out a vote. What game would you like to listen to the most? And then we got Bank Holiday Monday. Mersham are in town. We need to go and get those 3 points. We need you backing us at our ground, our lads, and making sure that you're there, enjoying the day. And then after that, it's the last few games of the season, isn't it? It's Ashford, it's Hassocks, which I know there's a coach going, and then we end our regular season against VCD. And by then, we will hopefully know if we're in the playoffs or not. And I do hope we're in them. And we are straight on it Tuesday night. Hopefully, we can win our Tuesday night game. Make sure we get there on the Friday as well. Be promoted. Be Ishman Prem team. And pushing that team forward. I am now going to leave you with a couple of voice notes from people. We have Dave. Rob, trying to get the names right. We have an anonymous person that I've had to put through AI, and we've got Jacob, and we've got the manager's view. As always, make sure you listen. Make sure you should subscribe to the pod. Make sure that you're giving us all the likes. If you've got a view, send it to me. I'm not hard to find. Drop us a DM. If you've got my number, drop me a number. Drop me a voice note via that, or just drop me an email, which you can message the club and get that. Up the brickies.
What can we say about that today? Well, ultimately, very, very disappointing from us. And we shot ourselves in the foot. I think that's probably why I'm more disappointed than I would be. Listen, it's no disgrace to lose to a team like AFC Whyteleafe. They're a very, very good side in this division this season. They score bundles and bundles of goals, and defensively, their record's not too shabby. I think they went over 100 goals in their, league season today. So, they were always going to be a very, very formidable opponent for us. I suppose the disappointing thing for me is really, I felt that it wasn't a 4-1 game. I felt that we ultimately contributed hugely to our downfall today. We've gifted them the third and fourth goals today, and that's flattered them from a scoreline point of view. You've got to give them credit for still pressurising, still committing players into the box, still closing people down. They will argue that they've created those opportunities, and so it depends which way you look at it. For me, I think that we started slowly. We find ourselves punished ultimately. They've had 2 chances, 2 goals. They're 2-0 up, probably with about 10 minutes played. But plenty of time left. And the football we were playing and the pressure that we were applying in their box, I felt that all we needed to do was get one. If we could get one before half time, there was a lot of time left, and I thought we'd put them under pressure second half. And it's kind of exactly what we did. Mitch scored a lovely goal to bring us back into it at 2-1. I felt they looked a little bit unsteady defensively as a unit. And I felt there was joy for us to be had second half. Come out second half, and we kind of did exactly what I thought we'd do. We put them under pressure, lots of balls in the box, lot of half-decent football being played. We only really created one very good chance. That was the one that fell to Henry. My opinion, I think he's got to be scoring that. Maybe I'm being a bit harsh. The ball didn't really sit for him that well, but I think that it's that good a chance. When you're 1-on-1 with a goalkeeper, can he take it earlier? I don't know. But I think that if we score that, I think, this is how tight and close a game it was today. I think if we score that goal and we bring it back to 2-2, I genuinely think we go on and win the game. So yeah, interesting, disappointing. The way we gave up the third and fourth goals, cheap goals to give away. But ultimately, football's quite a simple game, really. It's about how good you are in both boxes. And on today's evidence, unfortunately, Whyteleafe did better in both than we did. Not dissimilar to the away game at their place. They could have argued at their place that they deserved more out of the game. I'm not one that subscribes to that. I think, it's your deficiency if you miss chance after chance after chance. That's kind of how the game went at their place. They probably dominated us a little bit. They created a lot, but they didn't take them. And ultimately, on the day, we might have had two chances. Derek Asamoah scores 2 goals. We walk away with a 2-1 win. I feel like we shot ourselves in the foot a little bit today. What I would say is, does the prospect of playing Whyteleafe in the playoffs petrify me after what I've seen today? Yes, if we play like that, and if we gift them, the goals that we did. But no, there was a lot about that performance today that was all right. I thought Harvey and Mitch, particularly first half, caused them a lot of issues. I thought Darren Foxley was lively. I thought Deshaun had a decent game in central midfield. But we've got to defend better. We have to defend better against a team like that. And we've obviously got to be a little bit more clinical in the final third. So I wouldn't be petrified if we had to play them in the playoffs. I think they're a very, very good side, but I do think they've got a lot of weaknesses in there as well that we could exploit with a little bit more care. One of them days today. We just have to take that on the chin. They deserve the 3 points. Well done, Whyteleafe. On to next Saturday. Bit of a dead rubber, most of us probably think. They've got 6 points. East Grinstead minus 116 goal difference, I think I saw it was today after their latest defeat. It probably won't be as easy as it looks on paper, particularly with the games. I think there's some games being played on Good Friday. So depending on how those results go, that could seemingly kind of feel like it's putting a little bit more pressure on us to go down there and win. But we're at the business end of the season now. If we can't go to East Grinstead and pick up 3 points, then we probably don't deserve to get in the playoffs, do we? But lot to like about today, but it just wasn't one of them days, unfortunately. Onwards and upwards. See everyone next Saturday.
Morning, Brickies. Just a little review from myself about Saturday's game. Really sluggish start. Disappointing that it took us 2 goals before we really got started. I did think when we scored just before half time with Mitch, I honestly thought we'd go on and we'd get a positive result from the game. That said, I don't think we can play as poorly at the start or at the finish again for the rest of the season. So we've got that out of the way. in terms of the playoffs, everything is still fully in our hands. So, it's in our own destiny there. Whether we're at home, away in the playoffs, I think what's important is that we make fast starts. You can see how disappointed we were with the result, which is good. Saturday's game, I thought Mitch looked really good up top. You can see that he's brought something different. It was a really quality goal, really good piece of football, and we just need more of that, really. Saturday against East Grinstead is probably the ideal game to go to their place and to really make a statement. I think it is massively on us now to go out, put some good performances together over the weekend. Mersham at home on Monday will be difficult. It's not going to be easy, but they're the sort of tests that we need. There isn't too many easy games in this league, as we all know. So, want to try and wipe Saturday away as quick as possible from the memory, and just look forward now to what we've got left of the season, including the playoffs. It's still very much fancy us, wouldn't want to take us on in the playoffs. We've got experience up and down. I think we just need to get back to starting games a little bit quicker and playing more like we did, against Erith a few games ago. So it's in there. Just need that to click and all come together, really. But still optimistic, still positive. There's plenty of goals and plenty of character in this team, so I know they're going to come out fighting on Saturday. So looking forward to the trip down to East Grinstead and hopefully 3 points for the Brickies.
Good evening, Brickies. Jacob here. I think I was a little bit disappointed with the result. I don't think it was a result that the performance deserved. I don't think we deserved anything more than a draw, which sounds a bit silly considering the scoreline was 4-1. But I do think we would have been good value for that draw had we have got that the fourth goal in the game. Mitchell's goal was brilliant. God knows where that come from. It was just a simple ball played out wide to Mitchell on the left. It just took a shot from just inside the box on the left-hand side, and keeper stood no chance. I don't think the keeper was expecting a shot from there either. Fair play. I think he deserved that goal, though. Since coming back, he's worked tirelessly, chasing lost causes, chasing the ball, pressing, and all the usual stuff you expect from a lone striker. In today's game, quite often you see strikers having to do the work rate of two strikers, and I've been really pleased with Mitchell since he's returned. The start of the game, I think, was very, I think, nervous. I think cautious is a better word for it. Cautious from both teams. There was quite a few sort of wayward and loose passes from both teams. But obviously Whyteleafe took advantage of that, went 1-0 up, and then within 4 or 5 minutes they were 2-0 up. I believe it was in the 11th minute they were 2-0 up. So it was always going to be an uphill battle against a team like Whyteleafe. As we know from playing them back in January, I believe it was, they're very good at being able to slow the game down, dictate the pace and the tempo of the game. So it was always going to be difficult. We did well to try and get on the ball and get back into the game. As I said, Mitchell's goal in the 35th minute was a superb goal. that was scored at, I don't know, a higher level or the Premier League, the pundits on Match of the Day would be waxing lyrical about it and over-analysing it. So, yeah, that was a good goal. Second half, I think it was all sitting ball, really, up until the 80th odd minute, and we just got caught twice. Got caught playing out of possession, out trying to play out from the back. From the resulting corner, Whyteleafe score to make it 3-1, and then 5 minutes later we get caught playing out from the back again. Jack's long ball forward was blocked, fell straight to the striker. I think it may have took a little deflection, but it just trickled in the net. 4-1. It obviously game over there, but that's at least 2 goals that we shouldn't have conceded. I think probably maybe 3 goals we shouldn't have conceded. The first goal looked brilliant, but then when you look back at it on the highlights, I think we were caught too deep backtracking. If we kept the line a bit higher, I don't think they would have scored. But again, that was sort of nervousness early on, the cautiousness early on in the game. The second goal, I think, could have been avoided, but that's football, and that's the high standards that this team have set under Reece Prestige, that I'm sat here a little bit disappointed that we didn't get a draw out of the game. But I mean, the performance was certainly there. I'm not disappointed at the performance as such. When we were on the ball, we played well. We tried to play in between the lines, get the ball up to Mitch and to Harvey. I would have liked to have seen Derek have a little bit longer in the game. I think with his experience, he could have unlocked that back four, especially having scored 2 goals against them earlier on in the season. But that's why I'm sat here talking about the game and not managing. But no, yeah, it would have been nice to have seen Derek get a little bit more than half hour in the game. I've been a big fan of Derek since coming in. A lot of people will watch him and not realise he's 44, 45 years old, simply because he works so hard. He's still got the pace. What a superb signing he's been. Big fan of Derek. I'd like to see Derek and Mitchell given a few more minutes. I think they linked up really well away at Erith, so I'd like to see that a little bit more. We go into two big games at the weekends, Bank Holiday Monday, so I expect that Derek will probably start one of those games alongside Mitchell. So we'll see how well they get on together. But yeah, that's the high standard set since Reece has come in, that I'm a little bit disappointed that we didn't get the draw. But yeah, credit to the players and the manager and the coaching staff that with 4 or 5 games left, we're talking about playoff positions. When they took over in November, we were sat in 13th. So that's how well the manager and the coaches have got the tune out of the players. And hopefully come May, the first week of May, hopefully we're talking about promotion.
I hate talking, but would love a say anonymously if possible. Just cause people at club hate how outspoken I am. This what I'd say. I am absolutely livid and heartbroken that someone at our club has done this. We have spent many a year being hated by most Kent football fans' cause for years. We have been the most vocal at step 4. And teams don't like that even in bad times, we always took 40 to 50 minimum to other Kent teams. This has set all the hard work from fans over last decade, as will put some people off from coming. I have supported the club since Bull Ground Day, and have seen in excess of 1,500 Sittingbourne games, and spent endless amounts. It's hurting that one brainless moron can ruin all the work the fans and committee have put in. And on the game, I just think that only having 4 to 5 defenders in the club is catching up on us, and believe will possibly cost us promotion this season. Both managers we had this season seem to just be more interested in scoring and not keeping opposition out. We were fully out-muscled and slow to every second ball Saturday.
Reece, 4-1 loss here today to AFC Whyteleafe. What do you think?
I thought we actually started all right. First 5-10 minutes, I thought we started well. Got in some good areas, and then pretty much allowed them to dictate the game a little bit. They got their goal, which was a mistake. I mean, all four goals were a mistake. All could have been preventable. And just probably a little bit of naivety defending-wise. I mean, at 2-1, probably thought we was like the only team that looked like we was probably going to score. We went for it. We went, got in some good areas, went through a few times, and unfortunately, when you're on top against a team like Whyteleafe, you've got to get them goals, because you can't give teams like Whyteleafe 4 mistakes because they'll punish you.
You say that there, and anyone who does watch it will probably tell you that it was a game that we sort of dominated, but didn't get those key crosses in, or those key connections in the last moment. And fair play to Whyteleafe, when they had those opportunities, they did take them. But how much pride can you? I know you probably are unhappy at this moment, but how much pride can you take from the amount of dominance in this game today?
Yeah, I mean, would you take dominance over result? No, not at all. But like I said, you can't give teams like Whyteleafe chances because they'll punish you. They're up there for a reason. They're a good team. They're a good outfit. They play in tight areas, and we sort of just didn't get to grips with it enough. Really, I thought on the ball we was all right. We moved it well. We got in some good areas, but you need to punish. You need to punish when you're on top. At 2-1, I think we just probably went a little bit gung ho and made a silly mistake for their third. And once their third goes in, you get punished. That's it. Game done. Yeah.
Last 5 games coming up, and the playoffs are now wide open. It's us, Jersey Bulls, Faversham. I know that Margate are creeping in as well. And does that create a bit of pressure?
I mean, to be fair, we have to be in the playoffs. Take that as pressure or not, that's just what it is. If you don't like pressure, you're in the wrong game. There's not many. I said to the boys in there's not going to be many opportunities where you get to win a medal or a promotion or a trophy. So you've got to take those moments when it counts and sort of be accounted for. And I think we've done that. We've done that in previous games. I think we've sort of come through not a bad patch, but a patch where we were a bit up and down. And it looked like we sort of turned a corner. And today I thought it was just naive mistakes.
Moving on, a week on the training pitch, and then it's 2 games in the matter of 3 days. But first game, it's Grinstead away, already relegated. You're looking for a sharp reaction and to get the goal difference going up.
Oh, but just a reaction, to be honest. I just said in there, I should turn up Saturday, not have to do a team talk. That's the team, go out and win the game. Because we've sort of fell short today. And these are really these are the games where you need to step up. There's no easy games going into last, but these are the games where you need to make sure that you get over the line. And this was a big one today that like I said, we fell short.
Last question. This is a team you could potentially play again in the playoffs. It's 1 win, 1 loss. But are you looking at those teams in the playoffs and saying that we've played them all and anyone's beatable?
I think we've got to look at it that way. I take a lot out of it today of what could have been done, what should have been done, maybe what I should have done as well. I look at it at team selection and stuff like that, and take a little bit out of it towards the end and think maybe we could have gone a different way. All hindsight, of course. But yeah, we've learned a lot from today, and I think we can prepare a lot.
Thank you.